Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing Collateral Beauty with Will Smith and a cast of others. I don't know what the plot of this movie is. I refuse to look it up. I refuse to even speculate as to what it might be. Why? Because the title of this movie is so bad, so infuriating, that it's the only thing I can focus on right now. Who the hell came up with that name? Collateral Beauty. It sounds like a joke. It sounds like something you'd see in some sort of really bad parody movie. Like when somebody goes to see some like hokey romance film or something. Hey, I'm gonna see Collateral Beauty. Oh, God. Like, when it hits your brain, it just feels wrong. It's... oh, God. Whoever came up with that title, stop writing, sir. I am taking back your literacy card because you do not deserve it anymore. Oh, God. So, I don't know what the movie's gonna be like. I really don't. I don't really care. From now on, I'm going to refer to it as a sappy Will Smith movie. I'm not going to say that name anymore. I refuse. So, let's see what sappy Will Smith movie is about. How much money was spent on this? Tell me, how many millions of dollars went into making this? This Oscar-baiting, poorly written, poorly acted piece of trash. How much money was wasted in making this? Like, do you know where that money could have gone to? You could have funded 20 movies like this. 20! I'm not even joking. All this money was spent, clearly. A ton of money was spent on this. On a movie with no more draw or appeal than Burnt. Does anyone remember Burnt from last year? I don't. And nobody's gonna remember this either because it's a piece of crap. Oh, God. So where do I start? So, the title of the movie, well, the original title before I gave it the far better one, Sappy Will Smith movie, it's basically just a pretentious way of saying look on the bright side, or look for the good things, in terms of a tragedy. So, yeah, that's for a start. Movie's incredibly pretentious in that way. That's not the only example. And yet, despite being so pretentious, it is riddled with the most obvious symbolism, that they possibly could have. So the plot is, there's multiple plots, but I'll get to that. The main plot is that Will Smith lost his daughter 2 years ago. Or was it 3 years ago? I forget. I forget what they said. But he lost it, and of course he's grieving about it. Like, it was a horrible loss for him. And he's this big businessman, so his company's going into shits. He has controlling stock options, so they literally can't do anything, which isn't how companies work, but, you know, they're struggling without him, so they want him back. So they come up with a fanciful plan to snap him back, or at the very least make him look crazy. Wait, what? Did I just say that? They're trying to help him, or at the very least make him seem crazy. I'm not making this up. This is the plot. They seriously, in order to get controlling stock, they want to either make him better, or make him appear so crazy that he's forced to give up his shares. What? And these are supposed to be good people, by the way. They are portrayed as good people. Forgetting the fact that in a company, there is such a thing as an abstained vote. So, he has 60% of the company, yeah, but this other guy has 40%. So if he says, I think we should accept this contract, here's my vote for 40%, and Will Smith says nothing, it still goes through, because there was no vote against him. So, what's the problem? Just do everything without him. Oh, but they need his personality. Will Smith's great personality. Which I imagine, that would help a company a lot, but, we were given an example of his personality in this movie, like before the tragedy. That wouldn't motivate me. He was essentially doing the job of a $10 an hour motivational speaker you use for employees that are losing their benefits or something. And he's like, you see, the whole world is just a manifest of love, death, and time, and everything we do revolves around that. So you just gotta learn to control yourself, guys. And just this complete phony writing and stuff. It was exactly like some sort of cheap pep talk. And this is what the whole movie is built around. So you see, he goes crazy, right? And he starts writing letters to love, death, and time. Like, therapeutically, I guess. And his friends, they collect the letters and decide to, this is their plan, to hire actors to portray love, death, and time to him. And hopefully sort it out with him. So it's as if the cosmos answers. In other words, the plot of a really, really overdone sitcom episode. That's this movie. A really overdone sitcom cliche. They built their serious, Oscar-baiting, this is gonna make me a real actor movie around that. And it is so bad. And what do I mean by obvious symbolism? Well, they try to add another fold to it. You see, there's 3 people who are trying to get Will Smith back together, right? And they hire 3 actors to play the 3 roles. And you notice that those 3 people, they all associate themselves with one of those 3. One of the guys has cancer, so he's about to die. And he needs to sort that through. He needs to tell his wife he's going to die. So the lady who portrays death, she's also trying to help him. Ooh, wow. What amazing writing. I never would have saw that. Oh, and then there's the lady who has dedicated her whole life to the company and doesn't have a family. And she really wants one, so she's running out of time. So she needs to talk to the guy who has time, and he happens to help her. And then there's the guy who's losing the affections of his daughter. And he needs the lady who plays love to tell him that he needs to be a better father. Right? That's the movie. In other words, it's not just 1, it's 4. Technically 5, because there's this lady who runs a seminar for people who've lost their kids. 5 different tragic stories in one. This is the romantic comedy Lollapalooza drama film. This is Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. This is Love Actually. This is one of those movies, but intended to be a serious drama. The movie that can barely handle 1 drama well is trying to take on 4 or 5 at the same time in an hour and a half. Which, to be honest, is probably the best part about it, the hour and a half part, because it does mean that the movie's over fast, but still doesn't help with your pacing problems. So basically, at the end, all of their problems are solved immediately. And I do mean immediately. The guy with cancer tells his wife, it's fine, everything's good. The the lady who's running out of time. The guy says, well, you know, you could, like, look after kids that aren't even your own. And she's like, oh yeah, I guess I could. That's done, settled, no more emotional problems. The guy who's having trouble connecting with the daughter meets with her after school and asks if she wants to hang out. She says, sure. Fuck! That is so bad! Was this movie written by Tommy Wiseau? Who thinks people act like this? Like, to show that Will Smith is in a bunch of pain, he sets up dominoes in the place. He's wasting time, you see. See? The obvious frickin' symbolism again. And he just sets up these domino pieces and then he pushes them down because love is creation and death is destruction. And it all is an endless spiral and it makes no sense. In other words, he has the same motif as the boss from Robots, from like the early 2000s, that DreamWorks movie, where he just sits up in his lair making dominoes all the time. It's a freaking kids concept, and they're... The funny thing is, I would have loved to see this kind of concept, like the multiple dramatic stories all tied into each other thing, done by anybody but this team. The writing is so bad, so unconvincing. The actors, they all seem more like they're out for awards than for actual acting. And what do I mean by that? Will Smith, damn it, he tries, but he's pretty much just stoic the whole time, even when it's not really necessary. There's Keira Knightley, who's doing her very best Natalie Portman impression. And Natalie Portman's not that great a thing to look up to, but, you know, she's doing it. I'm going off on a tangent. Movie sucks. That's a short end. It has no integrity. It has a very bland understanding of human emotion. It has no sense of tension or pacing. A good example of that is, there's no quiet moments. And how can you say that? There's a dramatic film with no quiet moments? Well, whenever there's time when somebody's sitting down or talking, they can't stay there for long. It's less than a minute before they're out walking somewhere, before there's dramatic music playing and they're searching through boxes, or they're giving an impassioned speech or something like that. There's no, like, subtle character moments where somebody's just talking. Even this interaction with the people pretending to be Love, Death, and Time, he meets with them, each one, twice. And that's it. And both times, nothing is accomplished. The very first time, he just kind of, like, ignores them, and it's kind of like, what are you talking about? And that's the interaction. And then the second time, he's a little more aggressive, and that's it. There's no subtlety, there's no growth, there's no development. He just kind of fixes himself. He kind of gets himself back into a better mental state on his own, somehow. And let me tell you, you ask any reasonable psychiatrist, they would tell you that this whole actors thing is a very, very bad idea. But, you know, like, the movie makes it look like, because I guess they just want to make it finish in an hour and a half, that it could happen immediately. Immediate results. After the first time they showed up, immediately he starts going to therapy. It's like, wow, why didn't they do this years ago? Everyone should try it. God. Movie's terrible. I hope it doesn't succeed in being Oscar bait. The acting wasn't that great on anyone's part. Some were better than others, but, like, for the most part, nothing special. Story was terrible. Writing was terrible. Soundtrack was bland as hell. It has no attributes I can think of. No reason to see it. So until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching a Dyer-Situation.